What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol SPCE for Virgin Galactic. On the left-hand side, we have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. This, of course, will be more of an update. We've covered it semi-regularly on the channel in the past, and obviously what we have to talk about today is in the extended hours session, big news that the FAA did sort of approve one of their flight tests, or the FAA approved something for them, and regardless, price is reacting positively to that. So we will likely be opening on a gap up for tomorrow's session, which puts into play our gap rules. What I want to do is just sort of clean this chart up before we get too many lines on the chart and we can't see what's what. So just cleaning this up a bit here, that's good enough for now. We'll say that the opening print tomorrow is right around 25 and that the pre-market high is going to be up here at 25 and a quarter. That's of course going to give us our framework, which we can trade off of at the 9:30 bell. Let's do this through the lens of the daily chart, then we'll drill down to the 30 and talk a little bit more nuance. Whenever we're dealing with a gap, and again, I know this is probably not a popular opinion, but on a gap up, you traditionally look for a gap and trap, especially if the broad market is experiencing some pretty bearish sentiment and outlook, and certainly the broad market is doing that as of right now. So the gap and trap play would be if we open here, fail to take out the overnight high, we trade back down through the open, you're looking for a short to fill the gap back down towards today's high, which is coincidentally the bottom end of the range, right? Noting that the range is this, bottom, so on and so forth, right around that 2350 area. Can you actually short this is of course the question, and absolutely via puts, right? You're not going to do it with shares. Obviously, it's hard to borrow here, but if you look at the options chain, some decent volume going through here, good open interest. I would imagine that that increases as tomorrow's bell rings and more people are potentially interested in placing some sort of directional bet here inside of space. So definitely shortable if that's something that you're interested in, if we get the gap and trap. The next scenario, of course, and the one that I'm sure a lot more people are hoping for, would be the gap and go, right? So if we open here, consolidate in this range, but never take out the low of day or the opening print, whatever it ends up being, looking for a breakout up and over that pre-market high to get us into first the top end of the range. So that's going to be at 2650, noting where that comes from, right? If we do something like this, there we go. That is very realistic, right? So resistance, 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 and resistance from in here. I wouldn't just expect this to blast up through it with no issues at all. So please keep an eye on 2650. And then after that, yes, certainly a little bit more room to run. I would argue that the main number to be watching would be 28-ish, right? And just kind of splitting the difference between this high in here and this high in here. Look at it through the lens of the 30-minute. Let's do something like this. Again, you're kind of looking at this area. So 27.85, 28, just that general zone. You don't want to cherry pick the wick ever. So just be skeptical, right? As this, and if this moves to the upside, those would be my first two upside targets based on a gap and go. So you have my thoughts. You know what I'll be thinking. It's all going to come down to what happens at 9:30. Is it a gap and go, or is it a gap and trap? You have the framework. Hopefully it plays out cleanly in one direction versus another. If you enjoyed the video or learned anything new today, let me know down below in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description, and all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.